We are live. What's goody?
Are we?
Yes. So the way this works, I don't think you can click comments, but comments pop up on the side, and then if I click them, they show up on the screen like so. This is how that works. You can also have the thing showing on the side if you want. Like I'll have my YouTube playing.
Yeah, I can't see anything, but if you can see it, that's fine.
You don't see any comments?
Wait, I can see it. I can see it. Yeah, it was on the other tab.
Hello.
Hello. They're probably like, who is this?
I'm screaming.
Who is this?
I get used to randoms on my channel.
Who is this woman here?
Star.
Put my chair up so I look tall.
I'm so annoying. What's up, y'all? You may or may not know me, depending on where on the internet you came from. But I'm Tahira. I go by SincerelyTahiry on the internet. This is my YouTube channel. I'll be talking about stuff. I do a little bit of commentary, hence why we're doing this video. And this is Maymunah, who can introduce herself.
One more question, sorry. If I want people to follow the link, is it the first one you sent me or the second one?
The second one is for you. The first one is for everybody else.
All right, okay, I'm gonna add that.
You're so annoying.
You know what Instagram just gave this link thing to everybody. We didn't have this.
You know how to act. Now they're like, click the link. Annoying. Hey.
Am I introducing myself?
Yes.
What should I say?
Maymunah.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Sorry. All right. So my name is Maymunah. I am a filmmaker, photographer, all around visual creator. I didn't know we had to put our name on here, so I just put my Instagram.
Yeah, but her name is Maymunah. Please don't mind. Okay, I'm about to text you. I'm like, get your friend quickly. I'm so happy y'all are excited. So Dune has been out for a month, almost a month now. It came out first week of November, I think. Did you see it in person or did you see it on HBO?
Me, I saw it in theaters.
Okay, I saw it on HBO. I was like, I was gonna go out and see it, but I was broke. So the movies were like sold out, not all the way. I just didn't like the seats that they had. So I was like, I'm not doing this. So when I saw that it was coming on HBO, I was like, wow, we love to see it. I don't have to spend my money. That's my mom's money that she pays. That's not mine. It was actually supposed to be one of like my self-care nights. I had made myself dinner. I don't even know what I ate. I think I had like some salmon, something real cute. I was like, let me watch this movie. Oh my gosh. Just to be traumatized. Literally, and it's crazy because my mom was watching it at the same time with my siblings, like at home. So we were texting each other throughout the movie. Maymunah also read the books. You don't have to go into it too much, but what was your rating of the books?
I think when I rated the book, I rated the book 2 out of 5 stars. I think 2.
Sounds about right.
It was.
Compared to the movie, do you feel like it's a adequate like adaptation?
I feel like it's a good adaptation. I don't know. I haven't seen the previous version of the movie, whichever time that one came out, but I do feel like they made the story more interesting in the movie than in the book. That makes sense.
Okay, yeah, I know we have some like new people here. So exciting. Okay, so if you are new to my live shows, if you've never made it to a live show or you've never made it to Sincerely Sundays, this is very interactive. I'm not just like talking at you. This is obviously not a YouTube video. This is real time. So this also will be saved. I know that I don't save my Sincerely Sundays, but this will be a video. So if you have to leave halfway through or whatever, the playback will exist on my channel for however long. But yeah, so feel free to comment your thoughts, your opinions throughout, and then I'll highlight them on the screen and ask any questions if you have for us specifically about our thoughts or any topics that come up, or even if you disagree. I'm pretty sure y'all can see my description, but I literally said like, if you don't belong to the communities that were affected.
Does it even show up here?
Yeah, it don't show up here, but y'all see it. If you're not one of those communities, just watch. Just put a little like little heart. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so this first part, we're just going to talk about the movie as a movie, like as objectively as we can, which is hard knowing what was in the film, but without all the nooks and crannies. You, as the film person, you can go first because my expectations weren't high. I don't know too much about like cinematography and like, oh my God.
You have to say it like that.
You know? So explain to the audience like how did you feel about the movie as a movie, even some of the technical stuff, all of that.
Okay, so
oh wait, I'm sorry. Somebody just said that they haven't watched the movie and they don't know the premise, so I'm just gonna like explain it. Or do you want to explain it
quick?
really
I feel like you should explain it because I wanted to ask this question later on, but you can go for it because I wanted to know if you got the whole overall theme and everything from the movie.
Okay.
As someone that didn't read the book, like what did you get from it? Because I feel like if I didn't read the book, I would have been a little confused.
I think because I am familiar to the world of fantasy, you have to embrace being confused. Like I know some people. My mom was literally texting me. She actually tried to call me. I was like, Tahira, what is going on? I don't understand it. And I had to explain to her. So basically, Dune is what do they call them? Like sci-fi opera. Is that the correct like what? Right?
It does kind of fall into like a tragedy. Call it a space tragedy.
Yeah, like some type of drama. And so we have Timothée Chalamet who plays Paul. I'm just gonna let that marinate.
That name because I do not know how to say that name.
I want y'all to know that his name is Paul. Okay, so Paul is the son of let's just call him a governor, and essentially in this world, like take colonialism but make it bigger. Instead of people owning countries or trying to colonize states or lands, it's planets. So there's the emperor who controls the galaxy. I don't even know how that makes sense. But he controls the galaxy, and the people he appoints as governors, they control certain planets. So I forgot the planet name because y'all haven't watched. I watched it.
The one they're from, or the one
that Zendaya is from.
That's Arrakis.
Arrakis. Yeah. So Arrakis is basically the Middle East. Insert Arab.
Egypt. Arrakis is basically Egypt.
Insert any Arab or like North African country here, and they have a valuable asset, whatever material called spice. And spice has hallucinogenic and spiritual properties for them, but for the imperialists, for the colonialists, it makes their ships work. Very similar to oil. Now, I don't think oil has any type of meaning past just being oil, like culturally, but it's just like that thing in the ground that be doing stuff. But yeah, very similar to what's going on with the Middle East today. So Paul, his mom is low-key like a witch. And in the prophecy, girl, she's a jinn. Anyway,
that's a nice word to say. In
a prophecy,
how do they say it? The Bene Gesserit?
I'm saying
Bene Gesserit. Yeah,
I feel like it's not even necessary.
When I first saw the word, I didn't know how to pronounce it because I had to flip to the back of the book to figure out what they were because they didn't explain it.
I don't even feel like it's necessary to say it with an Arabic accent because like this is fake ass Arabic. But his mama is a witch, a part of this group, the Bene Gesserit, and there's a prophecy of somebody who is the chosen one, and they believe that it's Paul. So Paul's dad is told that he is now going to be taking over Arrakis, whatever. He's going to be
like
whatever. Is it whatever. So his father, he get the news from the emperor. He's like, listen, you and your little scrawny son and your whole family, your whole squad got to go to this planet. Y'all got to get the spice for us. Y'all got to get it together. But the tea is the people that were there before, the last governors, they were sadistic, less civilized, so we will. So basically Paul's father and Paul have to like pick up the scraps of whoever was left behind. And then it's the drama. It's political drama. There's also Paul feeling like, no, like I care about the native people and like their culture. I don't want to be an imperialist, colonialist. And so, yeah, so the people of Arrakis, that is Zendaya, and them. They obviously don't want anybody there, but because they've been colonized for so long, they're just like, take your spice and leave us alone and go about your business. So, yes, that is the first movie. Essentially, that is the plot. Girl, yes, that man's name is Paul. Oh, period. So you under the criteria. Everybody else, but yeah. So now you can go ahead since I broke it down. Y'all know the way I do my explanations. I had to just make it real cute. Y'all get it. Y'all get it. So explain your thoughts on just like the movie as a movie, and you can mention also the elements from the book that I guess are done visually in the movie, stuff like that.
Did you want me to explain like technical wise or just like story wise?
All of the above, honestly.
Okay. In all honesty, I didn't like the reason I feel like I didn't enjoy the movie as much as I probably would have if I didn't know the whole premise of the book and all that stuff is probably because I knew the premise of the book. I read the book.
Mm.
And I didn't realize until I actually went and saw the movie that I didn't know they were doing a whole part one, part two. I was like, there's no way they're gonna cram 792 pages into a movie.
Isn't that long?
The book is 792 pages. 792 pages. And it has parts to it. Like it has each part is labeled. Like one of them is like prophet, Messiah. Like there's a lot, but I didn't think they were gonna fit that in there. Then I went and saw the movie. I was like, oh, so there's part one and then a part two because it makes sense. Because there's no way that movie would have been under 5 hours if they did all that.
5 hours. Okay, that's wild. That's a
the
bit.
stuff that happens after they get taken to the Freeman people is a lot.
Okay.
It's a lot. But overall, the movie, like, it looked great. It sounded great. The music was amazing. Like,
Really?
it was interesting, but I'm a little biased because I love Hans Zimmer, so maybe that's why.
Okay.
Like he does amazing work. So I thought
that's the guy that does the score or the
guy that did the score. Yeah, he's done like so much stuff like The Dark Knight, Interstellar, Inception, Pirates of the Caribbean. He's done so much. He
that's
does
the only
amazing work.
film word I know. That's only because it's related to music. I'm like the score.
The score. Like the score was amazing. The cinematography was literally beautiful. I hate the color palette though because it was a little dry.
Like, I mean, it's the desert. It's supposed to look moist.
I understand that, but the whole movie, like, what made me upset about the color palette is Arrakis. I get it, sand, dunes, oranges, yellow. Right. But when we're on Paul's homeworld, why is it just twilight colored? Yo, like, it looks like orcs in space.
We're in Seattle. Where's the
Look, welcome to Seattle.
Where's
you must be the new girl. You're so boring but so original. Like I'm like,
where's Edward with the Volvo? Like, pull up.
Not Edward with the Volvo. It is that was the thing that bothered me because when I read the book, they talk about his home planet, which I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Caladran, something like that. They talk about being this oasis world with water and fruit, and it just looks magical. And then I'm watching the movie, and I'm like, this looks like Niagara Falls.
That's very interesting because I didn't get.
You didn't get Oasis on that. Nope. No. Like, because when he talks about it to like the Freeman people later on, he's like, yeah, I lived on a paradise planet. Bro, it looked like Seattle.
But for these type of people, that's their home. For them, this
it's true. But I did enjoy the cinematography. Aside from the color palette, the cinematography is amazing. Like just showing the scale of things, showing the world building. The world building was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying that because I actually felt like they were going. Like sometimes you might watch something and like over on another planet. Yeah, I don't believe you. I did believe it. Like I believe that okay, they went from this planet to another planet.
Yeah.
His dad looks like he has a certain respect to it. Then again, it's Oscar Isaac who doesn't respect him. Me. And then the armor was dumb. I'm sorry.
I didn't even realize that was supposed to be armor. Y'all know I was just here for Jason Momoa. You know I was staring at my baby father. That was it. I was like
the only time the armor looked good was on them too. Because
when he was home, I was just looking at Jason. That was all. I was like, Duncan, like, what's up, hey boo?
You're making me realize that half the characters in there have, unique names, and then there's Paul.
But I guess they're trying to show white
Paul
people
must have something to do with. I believe there's a Paul in the Bible, maybe.
There is Paul in the Bible, but I think it also shows like white people compared to literally everybody else. Like that's how their names be sounding compared to when they meet people of color. It's like your name is what?
But then
Huh.
again, his mother's name is also very. I would say just because if we're talking about this takes place 10,000, it's in the year 10,000.
Is it?
You're telling me everyone's people walking around with the name Duncan, Idaho, Leto, Raban, Baron, Harkonnen, and then there's a Paul.
I don't believe it. I do not believe. I don't believe it.
There's a Paul.
Should you give it a read? What do you think? Do you think that they should read it?
What a book of food isn't flying on my shelf. Should I get it? The only reason I say yes is you can have the experience of reading the book. I always say that for even for books I don't enjoy, you can read it for the experience of reading the book and just getting in that. But just take into account the book was written a long time ago.
Yeah, I was so mad when I found out Homeboy is dead. Like the author.
Yeah,
Because
so
it was
you can't even like really come at him.
I was so upset. It was really about to be on site for him, and he's dead.
But it makes sense because I feel like after I read the book, I had to go look up like when was this written. I was like, oh, it's written in the 60s, and I was like, oh, everything makes sense now.
Mm-hmm. Probably the name Paul because the movie was catered to a white audience.
And once again, it's written in the 60s, so during the 60s, people would probably relate to a name named Paul.
Yeah, and also they needed something to balance out the foreign stuff to other people. So Paul makes them feel comfortable. They know that name makes them even like Duncan, Idaho. Like, what the hell is that? But you have all these other words that are fake ass Arabic that are, to white people, they're like, what is that? So maybe Paul makes them feel, a bit more comfortable. I also like the cinematography. I can say objectively, the movie was beautiful to look at.
Very much.
Yeah, the scene where they were fighting, well, not even fighting, when they got like taken over. And it was literally, you could just see like the fire, the explosions, the spaceships flying. I was like, oh, this is a beautiful like movie.
I like how they did that actually because they don't in the book they don't even tell you. It just happens. It's just like, oh, we fell. Okay.
But here's the thing.
So it was nice to see it, even though they kind of died really crappy at the end.
The plot threw me off. I felt
Which
like
part of the plot threw you off?
girl, what plot? If I could find it, I could pinpoint for you. It was non-existent for me. I felt like, okay, Paul is here.
We can get to Paul as a protagonist in a second because we can go on about that.
Please,
I'm watching this in the show.
please. I appreciate you for being here. This is absolutely correct. Absolutely. I think this is why they made sure to have Paul and even to have Idaho. Like it don't even make no sense. It don't even sound proper. But I feel like the plot threw me off.
Which part, because even though we're saying it's not really a plot, because I agree with you, it's not really a plot. But which part were you like?
Okay, I think to be honest, it was when they got taken over. When they got to Arrakis, I feel like it was too slow. Like I was with them the whole time. I was like, okay, the Emperor people came. They told you this is your charter. You have to go. Batista and them. That was also very crazy. Like that nigga that was floating. I don't know what
that one line that he was going.
That worm guy. I'm so sorry. But Batista's people was like so tight. And it's like you could tell, okay, there's tensions brewing. And even they explained that the Emperor was willing to let the two planets fight each other. Like he was willing to let them fight each other because Paul's father was powerful. So I was like, okay, I get it. We get to, my baby father went off. I'm happy he came back. Okay. He had the dreams about homeboys having the dreams about Zendaya. Okay, cool. We get to the planet.
Okay, wait. Okay, the person that said so in a way, I'm gonna say I agree with you in the plot because the way they did the plot in the movie is exactly how it goes in the book. It comes out of nowhere, except the only problem is in the book, at the beginning, I think, of every chapter, there's someone that explains exactly what's gonna happen.
But
like
there wasn't that in the movie. That's the thing. Like
they don't have that, so you don't know when you're watching a movie. You don't know that this is all gonna happen. But in the book, literally the first 100, 200 pages is the Harkonnens like, yeah, we tricked them. They're gonna die. They're coming to the planet to die. Like it's all our plan. Blah blah. It's like ha ha he he. But when I think about it, if you're watching a movie, it doesn't make sense why as soon as we come to this planet, the first day the kid gets almost killed by, I'm gonna call it a fly dart, and then the second day the little thing that was trying to stab him,
yes.
that, and then the second day in, the dude gets stabbed with a dart, and then all these other people start dying and all this other stuff. I'm sorry, spoiler warning for anyone that was interested in watching this.
If y'all are watching, you know that you have no interest watching the actual movie.
Okay, so. Yeah, but all this stuff happens, and you're just like, it's hard. And all honesty, it's hard to care for the plot and all these people because it happens so fast.
Yes,
there's no build up.
Was Jason Momoa. That's because
I felt that one because we have more time with him. But how am I supposed to care about the Duke or Oscar Isaac if 2 seconds into the movie he's poisoned? I'm sorry, the man gets paralyzed. Then they put a fake tooth in his mouth with poison.
Yeah, and it was just like,
how am I supposed to care? Like, beautiful performance, but I don't care.
Even they didn't really spend time fleshing out the relationship between the doctor and them for it to feel like a betrayal.
They sure didn't.
Like, I didn't even know y'all was homies like that.
He's not. The thing is, he's not even present in the movie. Like, he appears once or twice, so you don't care about him. But Book Grayson cares about Paul and Jessica. He cares about them a lot. Like, he's his doctor.
But he put this whole plot into motion in the movie just for him to barely be there. That's what's killing me.
That's why I was like, why would y'all waste Dr. Yue like that? Because, granted, he still did what he did, but y'all made him seem like such a background character for him to be the one that starts this whole rebellion and plot.
Yes, that's the only thing.
I mean, that's most movies these days.
The only reason I told this to May yesterday, I was like, the only reason I would disagree is because I feel like Timothée Chalamet he has great acting capabilities. I'm not saying he's a good actor. I'm saying that there's potential. And I said it's because I watched The King. And if you watch The King, his monologue, you can look it up on YouTube. Like, to this day, I was like, it's giving Oscar. Like, whoa. I was not expecting that. But they don't position him to do anything more than just show up and be cute. So that's what people get from it. May has read it. I have not read the books.
They're trying to make him the young Leonardo DiCaprio. That's what they're trying to make him.
Correct.
Leonardo DiCaprio came in with acting chops.
I was interested because of the cast and the director, to be honest, and that I got good reviews. Okay, so speaking of the cast, before we really, really get into it, Zendaya was there.
For no reason.
She was the equivalent of Raven Baxter's visions. That was all. It was giving.
I'm trying to think of another movie where there's a character in it that does nothing, but is just there. But they're like a celebrity that's like real up there.
Yo, literally, she was showing up throughout visions in the movie. So he would have a vision. He's like, I see this girl. I'm dreaming about this girl. And then he gets there. She's not even, here's the thing that killed me. She wasn't even there when he got to the planet. So then it would tie it all together. She ain't show up to the last, I counted, it was the last under 20 minutes of the movie. That's when Zendaya pops up. Yep.
The way they play her up, like she's the most important character in her life.
Y'all thought y'all was getting Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya love? No.
Chani is the most insignificant character.
Girl, I agree. That's literally what I said. He has potential, but they
I'm going spoiler free here for y'all that want to watch y'all part 2, but she's so insignificant.
He has potential, but they put him in this corner because he's attractive, and so that's that. Okay, so I feel that the next thing we have to talk about,
Timothy does. It's not that he has acting chops. It's the fact that he's done movies where they've won awards. So usually they just take the 2 people that are in the movies and they're like, all right, let's just keep casting them. Because he was in Lady Bird, he did The King, he now did The French Dispatch, he did Little Women. He's done good movies. So now people are just going to assume that he knows what he's doing. He got the chops. So they're just going to keep asking him to be in movies. So he doesn't really have that movie.
It was quite literally 3.5 words. And she got on there, her one line, and she mispronounced Mahdi. I was like, I have to go. I have to go. Hang it up flat screen. I have to leave. I don't believe you're the
I
Mahdi.
was like, I've come here to get my chick.
Like, she's like, I don't believe you're the Mahdi. Me neither. Because what the hell is that? Who's the Mahdi?
And I it's not that I hate Zendaya. Like, I'm sure she's a great fashion icon. I'm gonna say that.
Is
She's
she
a great
style
fashion
herself?
icon.
She
I
doesn't style
just
herself.
don't
She's
think
take that.
she's an actor, and I'm tired of people forcing it on us because she's that quota that they want to meet for that little tip of diversity. But she does not know how to act.
Correct. She was
Clickbait.
clickbait. She was clickbait. She was there and gave us
So they definitely put her on the poster for no reason.
none. She was actually way too big. Why was she do? Apparently, she was doing interviews. Girl,
She
what?
was at the interviews. She was at the premiere. Why was you on the cover? Why were you? First of all, she had more screen time in the trailer than she had in the movie.
Quite literally, and she don't even count for me. To be honest, I'm not saying mixed people aren't black, but
That's what I'm saying. She's that quota that people constantly use in so many films because I have yet to see, and you guys can prove me wrong if you've seen something else that she's done. I have yet to see Zendaya in a role where I'm like, she's acting, not she's just talking, because it always feels like she's just talking. It never feels like she's acting. And I'm not talking about when she does her little crackhead roles because that's not acting. That's still her talking.
she truly gave us.
Because I like, Malcolm and Marie. Please.
I'm so happy she got that bag though. They just announced today that Euphoria comes back January 9th, so I hope she's happy with her bags. But she gave us
in that role. She needs to stay there because it works for her because of her face.
She gave us nothing. So the next thing I really wanted to talk about was the Orientalism of the film. The way that there's a lot of conversation about the lack of Muslim people, of SWANA people, of Arab people being in the movie, and how maybe if they were in the movie, it would have given something. Me personally, I feel like because it was made for a white audience, maybe having people that are from this community would visually make us feel better, but it wouldn't change the fact that they are operating in a film that was not for them, if that makes sense. Do you feel like having a diverse cast of like Muslim people or Arab people would have changed your thoughts on it?
No. No. I'm gonna say no because granted all the characters in the book are white. Granted. I'm pretty sure that they are. Just because once again it's written in the 60s.
Right.
But the reason I say that is because in a way them casting different ethnicities and races in the film, it kind of felt like Bridgerton in a way, where they were trying to introduce different ethnicities different ethnicities and races into something which didn't include before, which I don't know. I always feel like that's such a reach because why not just create your own thing? You don't have to throw other people in there just to meet a quota and things like that, especially when you choose to make the people that are seen as savage and free and need to be controlled as people of color, and then you assume that the people from the unknown planet are played by usually white actors. That's how it came off as, and it's so difficult because it's like, wow, I always feel like there's a point where when you're making a movie, was everyone not sitting at a table and saying, should we do this? Nobody said no. Like
No, I feel like, so the thing is there weren't Muslim people in the movie, but there is conversation about if there were Muslim people present, it would make people feel a little bit better, or if there were SWANA people present, it would make people feel better. And I understand, like I said, I feel like visually we would be like, okay, well, we at least can recognize that's Mahershala Ali, that's Yahya Abdul Mateen, like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you would be able to say that, but the story in itself is wrapped around the white savior trope. So what I don't even think Muslim people would do. To be honest, I don't think Muslim people would do the movie. So I would love to know y'all thoughts as well. Like, do you think having those characters would have changed your opinion on how offensive it was? Maybe when no one would agree to play the white rain characters and the producers might realize there's something wrong. I agree. But when you don't have people saying no, and this is why you can't hold the actors that say yes too much accountable, because they are marginalized. They are having troubles, obviously. Well, not having troubles, but they're still operating in the system of racism and white supremacy. What happened? Oh, they're still operating in the system of racism and white supremacy themselves. So I wouldn't blame Arab people or Muslim people if they wanted to be actors in the movie. But I'm just saying, would that have been a fulfilling role, or will they just be acting in a stereotype? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
It's definitely a stereotype, or I feel like it is, just because
Ooh.
specifically anytime they, I don't know why these people be taking these roles, but specifically anytime they cast someone that's even remotely Arab, they're usually in a stereotypical role. So if they
Right.
were in the movie Dune, I don't feel like they would even be a main character. And the only
Right.
reason I say that is because they did that a lot with, if anyone's seen Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones had a lot of Arab actors, but they were usually extras.
Right.
They wanted them for specific scenes and stuff like if they shot in their city, oh, we need a couple of extras because we want it to look like it's a exotic different place in another time and place, which I get it, but they're not gonna make them the main actor
Yeah.
because how many specifically I don't even want to say Arab because that's a broad spectrum. How many Egyptian or Moroccan or Palestinian or Pakistani, how many actors do you know that they would cast for any of those roles in Dune? Like specifically, how many do you know?
That's valid. I, having that superficial diverse cast was what happened in Aladdin to make Arab people feel represented, but really the animated film and live action had horrible representation of Arab culture. Exactly. So the fundamentals of the film in itself are bad. So like putting the people from the community in it is just a band-aid, if that makes sense. Like it's not fixing the problem. And I think Aladdin is a perfect example because Aladdin, I was that girl and the brown people around me would get so mad. Growing up, I would be like, I understand y'all are just looking for a princess to relate to, so Jasmine is the closest you'll get. But Aladdin is literally Arab people. When I heard him, so like if you listen to it, they talking about Arabian Nights, they talking about ain't the little monkey named Abu. I'm like, somebody gave salams in the beginning of the movie, and I'm like, okay, so why is it now being ambiguous of all the people in this region of the world because white people couldn't care less about distinguishing it?
Girl, they what did they say with Jasmine? I forgot what they said. They said, "Oh, she's got a 14%." When they cast her as Jasmine, they said, "Well, she's got 14%." Um, I think they said Indian, something like that, and I was like, just say you didn't want someone to be
Even in
a little
the
pigmented.
Broadway play, the actor is he's East Asian. He's like white and like Chinese or something. And he's like, my whole life I've been told I'm the wrong type of Asian. Negro, that's not what we're talking about. Don't do that.
That's definitely not what you're talking about.
Don't do that. I think the ambiguity of the religions wouldn't make me comfortable in Muslims representing it. I agree. That's a whole nother thing. And somebody said this, Yasmin said this earlier. To have a whole world where you're making up all types of things, even though it's based off of very specific places, you have to have the balance of fantasy and inspiration. If it's too much inspired by, it's a knockoff. And if it's too, I feel like too much fantasy is never a problem. They don't ever go to that end, like, let's just make it as fantastical. You can't say that it's called literally Zen Sunniism, which is supposed to be Zen Buddhism and Sunni Islam put together. Sir, that's no imagination. And then you're literally going to use the terminology, the belief system, even that, bro, the scene of them, wherever the hell they were at, they sitting there praying. I was like, are those dhikr beads and small Qur'ans? I was living that. Like, it really took me out of
remember seeing that. That's the crazy thing. That's why I was like, where is this scene? Because I remember seeing it from your story, and I was like, where?
Girl,
and where is it? I want to see it.
I wasn't the person, not knocking people. I knew people that said that they were not going to watch Dune. I wanted to watch it to see what it was hitting for. So I didn't have any expectations of being offended past just like a normal amount, you know? But when I was watching it and seeing how it was more Islam than fantasy made me feel offended. Because if you go Islamic, do it correct. And if not, you could have literally said whatever. You could have did whatever. Like I wouldn't even got offended if they had scarves on their head because mad cultures have. You know what I'm like? I don't. That wouldn't have bothered me. But the fact that it was really Islam is here and it was boom. I'm like,
bro, it was literally neck and neck.
yo. I'm like, correct.
I have no problem with that. It's just the fact that I don't even remember what point where I had to Google because I was like, there's no way this is what this book is. Like, it's not what I was expecting. And then people were like, yeah, Dune is like a combination of like old Christianity, Islam, Buddhism. Da, da, da. I'm like, if George R. Martin can make about 20 different religions in his book, none of them reflect each other, resemble each other in any way. It's not hard. Like, it's not difficult. The man has what is that I hated that. The Lord of Light. Literally just burn people.
But the tea is, so there was an interview by the author himself. And he basically said, like, if you think about the time, this is like 60s, 70s, you know, like the war, all of that. And this is where I forgot the girl's TikTok name, but I was going to reference it when I was going to originally sit down and film this video. But she basically said that in this interview and having the time frame, people, whatever hippies were looking at the Middle East like, you know, peace in the Middle East, like, God, like we don't want that to happen. But the way it was still in the lens of white supremacy. So to make them feel comfortable, that's like the birth of the white savior trope. Like they're worthy of saving because insert white person here, not because they're people of their own autonomy or whatever. Be like, no, they're not really savages. Why do you think they're not savages? Because Paul said so. Like that's the root of it all. And I think that's really why it's so offensive, as if these people don't have their own autonomy. Like I just feel very weird with the fact that you talking about, yeah, I'm gonna give you this planet.
That's really, they were like, so the emperor's giving you this planet. Okay. All right. I sound familiar to you.
Literally, I said this before so many times watching the movie. That's what I'm saying. That because there's a way to be like, this is inspired by Islam, but because I don't want to mess with the fact this is an actual religion, I'm gonna do something really, really on the other end and fantastical and really just say it's inspo.
Is it really inspo if everyone in the book is literally on the same plane? Because you're thinking these two different people would have different religions, but realistically they don't. Like the Benny witch women, they're like, oh, we believe in Messi. The Freeman, oh, we believe in it. The Atreus people, the same things. So I'm like, are they all really on a different religion, or is it just the same religion branched off?
It's the lack of creativity, and then you feeling like you're an authority in a space to be like, yeah, let me explain like what Islam is. Let me explain what this is. And that's the root of the problem of Orientalism. It's like, I'm gonna put this community of people in this little package that'll make you feel comfortable as a white person. It's not about them. I'm telling you that these are people that are worthy, that you should care about because I'm white. That's what you should listen, not because they're their own people, not because they have their own land and they have their own resources, but me as a white man, I'm putting you on to a whole culture of people. Are you dumb?
Knowing good and well, the story would have been way different if it was from the perspective of one of the Fremen. You know,
quite literally. Always oppressed, always going through something, always in the state of servitude. Like even the fact that they had people, the black girl who she was a Fremen and she's like helping them out and like that's her job. Like it sucked because
I didn't even know she was a woman. I read the book. I was like, this is a man. Then they said this is Keith. I said, who? Why? I was like, that's who y'all chose to play her, knowing good and well she gonna die.
What you know? What? May Allah bless him. I mean, period.
Like,
No, yes, exactly. I was just about to mention that. So the
Is
director
it
of the
commentary?
movie,
Is it?
the director of the movie said that it's a critique against the white savior trope because Paul is coming and he's getting immersed into the culture and is going to protect them from everybody else trying to come. That's what he's saying. This is a critique
Why
on
is it repeat? If it's doing the same thing, all of the other movies they make do.
this is the issue that people were saying. And we can get into the white savior trope because that in itself was very triggering. And I don't think people understand, like, okay, y'all think this is like some, oh, it's just a sci-fi, whatever. I really enjoyed the movie. But you're talking about people that are either descendants or currently living in occupation. You're talking about people who, Palestinian people who have never even been allowed to set foot on their homeland. Y'all talking about, yeah, I'm gonna give y'all this planet as if, some of us aren't descendants of people who were owned. Like, it hits different. It's not just, oh, this is a movie. It's not, especially because the creator himself, the writer, he made sure that it was involving these cultures because he thought he was doing something. And for this to be considered a classic, to be up there with Star Wars, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, I don't even want to talk about Star Wars. One family ruined the whole entire galaxy.
Here she go. Here she get out. Get out.
I'm not saying I love Star Wars, but that's the whole plot of Star Wars. One family ruined the whole galaxy.
Yes. This is what I'm saying. They think that, oh, this is just a trope. And I saw people on TikTok saying this is literally a critique of imperialism.
Critique for who?
Like, do white people not understand that y'all, as the main people working in these systems and benefiting from these systems, cannot come out on top and be like, I'm gonna be the front man for dismantling it. That's not how this works. Because in the same way that you're stepping in front to be like, yeah, racism is bad, the attention is on you. This is about
Wait, what this person said right here, I kind of want to speak on that. But I mean the fact that he is immersed in the cultures and stuff. I just feel it's not
who's
because
immersed in the culture.
he's not immersed in the culture because literally he doesn't ever immerse himself in the culture. He is it's just in a way he shows up and he already knows everything. So he's never immersed himself.
He
He literally
wasn't
came to the
invited.
planet. He came to the planet and was like, the lady was like, "Oh, how do you know how to wear your still suit?" "Oh, I just thought it should be that way." He's not immersing himself.
The equivalent is
Everything is just coming to him because he's the chosen one. Everything comes to him naturally. So he's not immersed in any way. He's literally been sent to that planet, I'm saying by the author, sent to that planet to literally rule these people. And
that's what I'm
any of
saying.
the culture there is it's already in his brain. He don't have to bro, he don't have to learn how to fight with a knife. He already know how.
You can't come from colonizer to, okay, now I'm going to fight for your liberation. What you do, and this is reflective of our society right now. We live in the time of fake woke white people saying, I care, I care, I care, whatever. Here's the thing. You know what you do? You correct the people around you that you have the power to correct, and you support the people of this marginalized community in their coming to power. It's okay. The equivalent is a white girl who she do cornrows and she know everything black people do. She be studying black people on the internet like it's nobody business. She know how to lay edges. She know how to make fried chicken. She know how to do macaroni and cheese. She feel like she know how to twerk, da 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 da. And then going to Africa or going into black communities and being like, why y'all don't like me? I didn't ask for you to be here. And
They
even your
didn't.
appreciation of my culture is fetishization because I was not involved in putting you onto it. And I bring this up because when you think about TikTok, it's a cesspool of cultural appropriation. And people get so mad at BIPOC people for gatekeeping. And what they don't understand is even if this is what you just seen on your explore page, you do not have authority or access to this space or this culture if you were not invited. I don't care that he's now realized that the Fremen are people that deserve their own rights. You came here as a colonizer, sir. You can like you can't erase that. I'm so sorry. It's a caricature, exactly. They care, but they never speak out against their racist family. But They don't want to listen to what Black people say. Exactly. But you want to get upset because I'm saying that you acknowledging that racism exists is not enough. I'm so sorry. Girl.
Girl, the way they had that whole system is so dumb. Like,
How is
oh,
you
we asked you to birth girls, and then you just decided to birth a boy.
how are you a thank you. How are you a savior of people? Like what are you trying to tell these people that their savior is someone who knows nothing about them? Who came here in a position of power to dictate, to take over, who is not of them? How do you tell that to
Man
people?
touched down on the planet, had one whiff of the spice, and was like, "Yeah, I know how to wear a steel suit now. I just felt like it was the right way to do it, bro."
No. I heard this was a critique for the environment and climate change. So hearing about the white savior trope in Islam is like, wow. No,
Environment, no. Climate change, no.
no.
Especially since Arrakis has no problem with the environment.
Even that, they kept
There's nothing wrong
referencing.
with it.
They kept referencing. They're like, yeah, there's no water here, and there's no life, and there's da 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 da. There's nothing wrong with the desert. The
There's
desert.
nothing wrong. They'll touch base on it in part two as to what the Fremen are actually trying to do, but there's nothing wrong with the planet, and they don't realize that. But they still came to the planet like, oh, there's something wrong with it, but we're still gonna harvest what we can.
They expect for us to just be happy with the fact that they realize correct. So if Paul think that he gonna hop into the Fremen category, and be like, hey, what's going on? When you see white people talking about F the white man, you are the white man. The white man is your daddy.
He's gonna walk up on the planet. They're gonna be like, oh my god, hi, we're big fans.
And even
Who are you?
ego and white supremacy for you to feel like even though you acknowledge that racism is wrong, you're supposed to be celebrated around the people that experience racism. That's white supremacy. That's why y'all cannot be in the front line of dismantling it because you still simultaneously benefit from it. I don't care. No white person should ever. You're an ally to who? Talk to your mama because I'm telling you, Mima about to get it in the meat market. Tell her to keep pushing. Okay, please.
I'm a firm believer that you shouldn't have to say that word. It should just be something that's applied. So if you ever have to say I'm not this, I'm not that, I am this, then it's obviously not. I
Let
can't
the
see it.
PLC around you call you an ally. You can't dictate yourself as an ally.
Please don't ever in your life tell me, "Oh, I'm an ally."
Literally. Like, damn, now you're trying to say the sun is the problem? What the hell? Go home, back to forks, Negro. Like, come on. Cut it out.
They were really trying to say that the Fremen were the people that were. What's the word I'm looking for? That they were basically saying that, oh, they're trying to stop us from doing what we need to do. They need to be eradicated. All these things, but it's literally these are people that have been here for supposedly thousands of years. They've
This is their
adapted to the
home.
climate. They're the ones that built the suits that you're wearing.
This is their
Like,
home. This is
and
their
they're
home.
like,
And
oh,
no,
they're trying to stop us from doing what we need to do. No, bro, what? No, they're not. Find some other way to
this
power
is
your
their
ship.
home. And they don't even when Oscar Isaac or whatever, when they came, and this is literally like peak white liberalism. They came and they're like, okay, what can we do to help and da da da. And what did they say? He said, leave us the hell alone. Take
He
your
said, don't come to our villages. He said, don't bother us. He said, do what you need to do and leave us alone. And I feel like he said that in a nice way because I feel like at some point he wanted to say, please just get off the planet. But they're beyond that now because they knew they weren't going to leave. So they were like, you know what?
yes.
Just don't come to our villages. Don't bother our people. Just stay where you are and everything will be fine. Because it's
Correct.
not like the Fremen are afraid of them. I 100% they're not afraid of them. They're constantly taking their stuff, raiding their areas. Like they're not afraid. They just want y'all to slowly leave.
Yes. And even them feeling like the way that they can help BIPOC people or marginalized people is by them being the center of this space is a problem. That's the problem. He talking about he want to help the Fremen and we're trying to like make y'all feel empowered or whatever. Let them tell you what they want. You can't say no, 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 but no, but like we need to have some type of alliance. I didn't ask for that, white boy.
He really came up. He was like, I just came here to see what y'all were doing. They were like, oh, we would like an alliance. I just said hi.
Be
I
happy.
said hi.
It wouldn't exist if it was from the perspective of Fremen, because
It
it was
wouldn't, because it
made
was completely different. They would
for
not let that one person who lived there already be like, "Oh, he's the Messiah now."
it was made for white people. And for me, okay, so what I don't like, and somebody mentioned this earlier about the Mahdi thing. I mean, I think she mentioned specifically it about Sunni Shia Muslims. I can say that there's maybe more emphasis for Shia Muslims, but the Mahdi is definitely involved in Sunni Muslims. Like, it's not a separation really. But that was really audacious, in my opinion, because most people, when you look at Islam, you don't find out about the Mahdi. That's research. That's proximity. And then
Man,
so
had the book open, was taking notes, highlighting.
even finding out how sacred it is, because it's not something that's popularly known, and then you put it in the movie, you put it in the book. You saw how much work did he have to do to even how many lessons, how often did he have to sit in around Arab people and Muslim people and hear about Islam to get to the Mahdi, because it's something that's not talked about. And then you're like, oh yeah, that's what I want.
Especially since a lot of the stuff that they say is very reflective of that. Like when I don't know the full line, but when they're talking like when he comes, he will already know your ways as if it was, he will know your ways as if it's like second nature. That for you to come to that specific mindset, there's no
And
way.
even that definition is rooted in like cultural appropriation. And you're gonna take the role of the Mahdi and be like, yeah, let me relate chosen one to somebody who has literally fetishized our culture. Come on. Oh, of course, because y'all don't want to hear. I'm listen. I know there's probably Arab people on here, but the way that y'all have so much internalized white supremacy is really a problem. Allah save y'all from that. There are definitely people who will throw their culture and everything to white people for approval. Every year for 9/11, you have Muslims being like, "Oh my gosh, like Muslims are not. We don't do," and they all look one way. They're all from the same region of the world that sit here trying to explain their worth to white people, and they not black.
They water themselves down every year.
They're and I'm not okay. I'm not saying it's not black
That's
people.
to get the thumbs up.
Okay, I'm not saying it's not black people. It's not black Americans. I say that very confidently.
Oh no, it's definitely not.
It's not us.
I
Now,
can think of a specific group of people, but I won't say any ethnicities because I don't want anyone to get upset.
right. This is not a diaspora war, but I'm just saying it's not black Americans. So yeah, they definitely, but here's the thing. I don't even want to say that this is him being a fan. And we have to be mindful of it. This is kind of like,
I'm not saying culture ritual.
yeah, this is like kind of similar but different. You know how people say like, oh, somebody was like blinded by love and stuff like that. I've talked about this before, but being intentional to not have negative or positive connotations on words that they don't coexist. You can't say that somebody was in love with somebody or in love with something and then disrespect it. I'm not going to be offended. And there's a lot of white people on TikTok who were saying, oh damn, where did they go? There was a lot of white people on TikTok who were saying that, oh, like y'all should just be so happy. And then there's whole white people who have made Dune their entire personality, and they don't care what Muslim people, what SWANA people have to say about it. They don't care at all. Girl, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And you know what I can say though, that it's inspired me to hold on, let me find out what it is. It's definitely inspired me to challenge the lack of representation for Muslim people, specifically in the fictional world, because white people will take it and do what they want with it. They try so to convince the white man that they're girl, what happened?
I don't know.
Girl, you just disappeared.
Not my computer shutting off. Hold on.
It was a demon.
Ridiculous.
But it wasn't even the first time that they mentioned the Mahdi. They said it before, like when he got to that room where Jason Momoa died. And they were like, I don't believe that he's the Mahdi. Is he really the Mahdi? But it was in, like you said, it's 100% intentional. And notice that was her one line. Was the Mahdi thing in the book, May? Are you here? Are you present? Can you hear me? May's having technical difficulties. I can't hear you. Okay, until she figures that out. Oh my gosh. And then to the point where you have Muslims and all they do, let me stop. No, I was gonna say something because I'm not gonna talk about them on a public platform because May, you back? Hello? I think I can hear you. You could just take the AirPods out if anything. Also, why is the secret political society of women that are supposed to be the behind the scene rulers of the universe also white? Correct. Correct. Wait, hold up. I can't hear you. It says that you're muted. I mean, it says your mic isn't connected. Okay. It says you're unmuted now. Talk.
No?
Yeah, you're good.
Nah. Okay.
What was that?
There was a question that I saw on the screen. Someone asked a question, but it disappeared literally as soon as my.
Somebody asked
something about the Mahdi.
They said, "Is the Mahdi trope in the book? Like, is that word used in the book?"
See.
Yes. Yeah, I understand.
The thing is, they use all different types of words. Like they use Sayyadini. No, what's the word I'm looking for? They use Mahdi, Messiah.
Sayyidina? I hope not.
They use a couple. No. They have a word that's Sayyadini. Or no, Sayyadina for women. They start calling his mom that. That's the word they use for his mom.
Sayyidina,
the one that birthed the prophet.
I don't think about human technology. I said the same thing. I feel very triggered.
Unless it's the word I'm thinking of. I would hate to have to go over there and look in the book.
I hate when I see white people as the center of fantasy because once you get in touch,
you having your book on hand.
It's a problem because the books are so pretty. But when you're in touch with like your culture and even people trying to get more in touch with their own sense of spirituality.
My sister's also reading the book.
Oh, I feel bad for her. But it's to see
pretty, though. The book's real pretty, I'll give them that.
That's the problem. But to see white people portrayed as like the stars of fantasy and magic, it's like that's not even in y'all culture. I said this on my stories before. If there was anybody that Allah is giving special abilities to, y'all are last on the list. Y'all are not on the list. You're not in the club. So you're talking about, yeah, I sent this to Nadir the other day, but there was this like white girl on TikTok and she was doing spiritual readings. And she does, I think I sent it to you too. She told the spirit to pull his pants up. I said, you see, this is why Allah didn't give y'all no. This girl was trying to get in touch with her father and the white mediums. I'm like, yeah, you in the corner, pull your pants up. That's how I know you're talking to a jinn. That's how I know you're not talking to nobody. Because Allah didn't give you no nothing. Okay. Girl, there's already so little Muslim rep in media. So the fact that this is what we're getting ain't correct. And then you feel morally like conflicted if you did enjoy parts of the movie or you do like the sci-fi fantasy genre because you're like, oh, okay. And the movie wasn't shitty. And I'm like, damn, but I feel shitty. That's the problem. Every Muslim is taking off their hijab for some white boy.
I feel like I do enjoy the sci-fi aspect though, but not in that aspect. I enjoy Star Wars sci-fi, Guardians of the Galaxy if you want to count that, Star Trek.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. Do y'all think no Muslim representation in Western media is better than the representation that we're getting? No. Me personally, I would say yes.
I would say what we're getting, no. What we could have, yes. Because people deny it and say that they're aint, but I strongly feel like representation is better in short films. I know people don't watch them, but it's better. It's truly better because the people that are making them usually are making them based off of some aspect of their life or story that they really want to tell, and they're more fleshed out. They make more sense, and they're not culture hopping.
But the problem with that, and then we can use Hala as an example, and even some of the times when you give, because yeah, that was an indie movie. When you give certain people in indie or whatever spaces that are also marginalized and people of color, like take Mindy Kaling. They just use their platforms to promote the same internalized white supremacy that they have. Like Hala was written and directed by a Muslim woman. And I'm sure there's Muslim women.
I'm real proud of that film.
Yeah, I'm sure Jada Pinkett Smith.
I was so disappointed.
She executive produced it. Jada Pinkett Smith produced.
But that's it's not even the fact that Jada. It's the fact that she probably produced it because she was thinking, "Oh, this is a great representation of
that's what I'm saying.
Average Muslim American teen or something." And I had the only problem I had with Hala is the fact that her whole character is a stereotype, which is hard to believe because the person that wrote it and directed it, if this is a reflection of your life, are you saying that y'all all keep living the same life?
No, but that's what I'm saying. Even in these smaller spaces, yes, you may have access to this type of job or opportunity or production or for it to be bigger or film festivals. But the reason that your story got picked, I promise you, is because that the story of trauma of a Muslim girl, of Muslim people, resonates with white people. That's why it got picked. So I'm not saying that there aren't Muslim people that are forced to wear hijab. I'm not saying there aren't Muslim people that are oppressed or are struggling. But girl, even the low-key people who get these opportunities, they picked you because your trauma aligns with the trauma that they gave your people. And I'm gonna just leave it there. Not the bro, I'm telling you, who were you conjuring? At first I was like, it's not Islam until I saw the thicker beats. Yes.
Where is this scene that y'all seen? Because I did not see this. Are you trying to tell me there's a different cut on HBO?
Girl, I'm telling you the scene happened. Somebody said they saw it in the movie, but it was like 3 seconds. When you watch it online, girl, I paused every second. Okay.
I have to pause it because they must have did it when I blinked and took some popcorn in my mouth.
Yes, because my friend was like, I didn't notice it. I thought I saw it, and then I came.
I didn't notice it. That's what I'm saying. It must have happened. So maybe it's because when you move, you can't pause nothing.
That's what she's like. She was like, I thought I was bugging until I went on your story, and I was like, oh yeah, that's it. That's what I'm saying. The book adds a lot of references and it shares about a lot of actually sisters releases.
Which Muslims? Which?
But that's why I said
speak up quickly.
That's why I said no representation in a certain point is better, because then you have Muslims that are uplifting the bare minimum that they get, and I'm not taking it. I'm so sorry. And if y'all want to know what the other options are, uplift and support Muslim creators. That's it. And diverse Muslim creators, because Muslim as a category is not diverse. That's not enough. Oh, they're Muslim. That's enough. No. How do you practice? Where are you from? How does Islam influence your culture? How does Islam affect you? Like in regards to modesty, in regards to spirituality, like there even regard what sect of Islam are you from? Having somebody that say that they Muslim, we the most fastest growing religion in the world, and Muslim people don't stop having kids. I'm sorry, the title Muslim don't do it for me. It's not enough.
It really doesn't, because most of the time when they say that, 9 times out of 10, they're not even like really like a practicing one.
That's why they chose your story. Holla. They love that. You throwing up in the hijab and running in the middle of the street, they like, yeah.
I'm so tired of these little errands like, oh, this religion just not work for me. I gotta take off my scarf for a white boy though.
But even that, y'all putting so much emphasis on a hijab, girl. If I took off this hijab tomorrow, I'm still a Muslim now. I'm just saying Allah protect me from that. But I'm saying that my Muslim identity is not tied to my hijab.
But it seems like that's what all of it for men. It has to be tied to the fact that they have to protect the Muslim woman from any type of harm. They have to be really aggressive.
Even though
they have to be really uncomfortable with
the trauma. They're the trauma. They're the oppressors.
They're like, oh, I'm wearing a scarf. I have been oppressed. I am traumatized. I am upset. For once, and I had this idea, I'm not going to really share it too much in here because somebody might steal my idea. I don't know who might be watching. But once upon a time, I wanted to have a show similar to Parks and Rec, but they're all Muslims.
That'd be cute.
I thought that would be a good idea to show some representation. It would be a little comedy. It would be a little fun. But I just feel like in this day and age, it's not going to work because there's always going to be somebody like, oh, why don't we have in season 4 her take off her hijab?
But this is why we have to be intentional about our buying and spending power as people. We have the same conversation about Black people. We're the number one consumers. And if we put half of our attention towards ourselves, and we've seen it with brands like Brandon Blackwood, with Telfar, look at what we can do. Look at
It's funny because half the people that be buying Telfar don't even be black.
Now they're not black, but it was because what black people deem as cool.
Girl, from the beginning they wasn't. They was snooping in there. They was grabbing and grabbing.
What
they
black
said, black product? I want to go support. If you want to support, let us buy it first.
Literally, but what we determine as cool is cool, and I feel like it's the same thing. What y'all allow them to say is Muslim representation, and you say that by watching and supporting, they will continue to make it. That's why people keep asking me to react to certain things of Muslim representation, and I'm not doing it. I'm not giving them clout. Go read some S.K. Ali, some Farida Abike Iyimide. Go read some, what's her name that wrote Hannah Khan Carries On? Layla Sabrine is a black Muslim.
Read. What's the book I have over here? We Hunt the Plane.
It was okay. Some Hafsa, come on. Some Sabah Tahir, come on.
Yeah, I was about to say Sabah Tahir.
That's what y'all need to do. Support these books so they get turned into movies. But instead, you know who they will support? S.K. Chakraborty, because she's a white Muslim revert who wrote a book about jinns. Come on. The story be writing itself.
You lost me at white, but go ahead.
I was talking to my coworker today about how it's BS that most of the books for YA and adults that have Muslim representation is all South Asian and Middle Eastern. Oh, you work in a library? I'm so jealous.
Girl, if we want to get into it, they don't never have any Muslims anywhere.
Tahirah Mafi is a
Middle Eastern. The story's always about jinn.
Tahirah Mafi is a white woman. I will say it again. Tahirah Mafi is a white woman. She walks throughout the world as a white woman. She has a scarf on her head, but she is white passing. And she's married to a white man. And her books, first of all, her fantasy books are not well. And then she started writing about contemporary, and all she's talking about is 9/11. Get the hell over it.
All right, wait. I'm going to try this again. My laptop is back on.
Okay,
the screen is not working for me.
Okay. Why are so obsessed with taking off our hijab? Because it makes them feel comfortable. And like May said, the hijab taking off trope, the being with a white person trope, the hating your father trope, the jinn trope, these are the things that white people are comfortable with.
The jinns is too much. It's exhausting. The jinns is exhausting.
They don't stop. I'm done reading books. Because they are. Listen. Come on. Y'all know why they like jinns?
Because they got them in their house.
Yeah.
They in their house.
City of Brass is not a bad book. Okay, wait, hold on.
Ready yet? It's been on my want to read this.
Let me tell the truth. I'm not saying it's a bad book, but it didn't like if she can't S.K. Chakraborty, she don't touch Sabah Tahir. She don't touch Hafsa Faizal.
Is City of Brass, does it have Muslims in it or something?
Yes, they're jinns, but they're Muslim.
Oh, okay.
So basically, City of Brass, homegirl, she's like, it's like an Aladdin trope. That's the way I relate it to. So homegirl like Aladdin, she's a street rat. She be hustling, finessing people, and she does fake ruqyas.
Street rat.
And so she does a ruqya, and then a spirit answers, and it's a jinn. And so she brings some stuff out, and then one of the jinns that came out is trying to protect her because I think they can feel there's something special about her. So they bring her to the City of Brass, which is where the jinns are. So literally everybody in the book is a jinn, which is why I felt conflicted because I love one character.
Honestly, I can't even knock it because at the end of the day, not all jinns are bad.
But can we talk about good Muslim people before we start talking about jinns?
Yeah, I get it. But it's like I always feel like people always associate jinns with being bad when they have their own world. There's good, there's bad, which I get. But I do also say that I hate that trope of that every time there has to be any type of fantasy based around any type of person that's Muslim, it has to be about jinns. And I'm like, you can't tell me there's no other aspect that you would like to incorporate into your fantasies about Muslims.
But what I can say about the City of Brass series is that even her mention of jinns is the most interesting that I've seen. She talks about water jinns. She talks about jinns of like different types. So at least I was like, okay, it's giving some. This has actually inspired me to continue writing my book. Same, kind of unrelated, but how do you think fantasy and religion should be tied together?
Pick and choose. You have to pick and choose.
Yeah, I don't think that
at the beginning you have to figure out whether or not that's something that you want to tackle You individually, because I've also gambled with that. You have to. Do you want to have a specific religion in your book, or do you want to have a made up religion in your book? Because taking account, other people are going to read it,
Mhm.
and if it's based around a religion that already exists, you have to do your research and it has to make sense or people are going to get offended. Then again, people always get offended by a book anyway. But
Yeah.
if it's based around something that's really sacred to people, it's different if you toiling with gender or you toiling with race and all that, but you're toying with religion, which is something that is so heavy for people. So if you're going to have that in there, either do it right, do it different, or I'm going to say different or right. Don't come in and just like, don't do what Mr. Frank Hubert did, okay?
I just feel
Please.
like when it comes to religion and fantasy, there are aspects of fantasy that can exist that have nothing to do with religion. For example, like if there was a fantasy book about a girl who can, I don't know, like she can control water. That has nothing to do with and she just so happens to be Muslim. That's not something that has anything to do with her Islamic identity. You know what I mean? But the problem when you start talking about things like Dune or even in City of Brass, the fantastical aspect is tied to the religion, and that's where we have problems. Like I don't have girl. I would love to see a Muslim avatar. Okay,
Girl, I don't
I
want
don't
to see
got
a
no.
Muslim avatar. I want to see a Muslim fairy.
Give me a Muslim that be talking to animals because
I want a Muslim fairy in a fairy kingdom.
even
I
when
want her
I
to have
mean
her hijab on in the forest,
that's what I'm saying. Like
enchanted forest.
you can do it, but it doesn't have like sometimes your Muslim identity does not have to be the thing that we talk about, and that's why I love SK Ali books because her characters are just Muslim. It's no identity of there's no crisis identity. That it's just like I'm identity crisis. My bad. She's just existing, living her best. All her characters are living their best life, and they just so happen to be Muslim. So you can write a fantasy book, and the characters can be Muslim, but they don't. It doesn't have to be anything that contradicts each other. What's wild is that the children's picture books that we have coming in are super diverse and properly represented. But here's the thing: um, there are Muslim authors that are writing books that are creating stories, but they don't get picked up for children. It's okay because you teach children love, and oh my gosh, like love everybody, peace and love. But for adults, they're not gonna say that they want oppression. They
Oh yeah.
want that's the difference because I could tell y'all some authors. Y'all know I do the ICRA trials every year, and I'm working on my list of the ICRA trials for next year. Very excited. I'm looking for some fantasy. If you have any Muslim fantasy books, let me know. As a Muslim, why are you writing a book about being in a relationship with jinns?
Don't jinns have relationships though?
They do.
Because they have a whole. I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't jinns in another world directly next to ours where
They're
we cannot
another
interact with each other?
they're another race of people.
Like,
Of beings.
so you may or may not, be walking towards, day of judgment, and there might be one next to you. Like, hey,
No,
bro,
but
you blue?
the thing is like
Mhm.
jinns, they're not we all know jinns are not just all bad, but I just feel like jinns don't got nothing to do with me. If jinns was my business, I would be able to see them. They don't got nothing to do with me. That's how I feel. So just leave it alone.
I don't think the relationship is an issue because I feel like whenever people write books or stories and all this stuff about things like jinns and stuff like that, I feel like they assume that they're all bad. Like, no, it's supposed to be people in another world living their life. Like,
But
don't get
that's why I
that's
didn't
like
really mind
it's
City
like
of Brass in
it's a
that type of way.
stereotype, to be honest.
It is a stereotype, but the issue comes where it's like
Mhm.
these people, I promise you, they're writing about jinns because they believe of them in a fantastical way, and that's the problem. That's why so many Muslims feel comfortable writing about jinns because they put it in the same category of fantasy as vampires and werewolves. Except that when you have homeboy trying to possess you, don't call nobody asking for a rukia. That's the difference. Keep playing with these white people, okay? You keep
Yeah, I
on.
feel like there's definitely a difference though. There's a difference between you playing with something and then okay, that has nothing to do with you. Just leave it be. You
That's
don't
what I'm
have
saying.
to.
That's what
But
I'm
some
saying.
people they haven't definitely wrapped around tradition, like because the same thing could be said for people that write stories about other fantastical things, like even though it's not real, ancient Egyptian or Greek mythology.
But
They're
putting
still
jinns in that
fantasy. They're still
category
fantasy captives. You said
But
what?
putting jinns in that category is dangerous. That's what I'm saying. For Muslim people, like we should know better because they're not of the same category.
Yeah, they're not. I don't think they're fantasy, but I still think they are in a world of themselves. But I don't. They're not really fantasy because I mean,
But what I'm saying, just leave it alone. This comment is so funny because literally, Muslim jinns have better representation, bro. I'm telling you, Prince Alizade in City of Brass, I'm in love with him. I can't say that there's a Muslim character that I'm in love. That man is a jinn. Help me. Like, I love him. But like, and even in that book though, they were clowning him for being religious. I was like, how y'all mad? Because okay, he was a jinn, but he was also any man. And I'm like, how y'all mad he can lead in the salat? What?
It's very accurate to what people do now.
When are we gonna get a when are we gonna get a girl taking off her hijab for a jinn? This is diversity. I'm
really up for the mermaid idea. I don't know who typed that, but the mermaid idea, I'm definitely that one right there.
Khadijah, cut it out. Okay, cut it out. I
know she was laughing when she typed that.
Cut it out. A Muslim mermaid would be so cute, especially because there are water jinns.
Mermaid, I want Aquaman, please.
Then book 2, they'll say she was controlling water because that's where the listen. Not y'all right. It's still NaNoWriMo. Okay, not y'all writing books. Hold on. Exactly. Being Muslim is part of my identity, but it's not the only part of my identity. I can't be represented with the same complexity as white people. Correct.
I say this all the time when I say when people get cast for movies. I always say that what's the word I'm trying to say? When white actors get cast for movies, they get cast for the role. But when other minorities get cast, they have to be cast as their race.
Yes.
So they have to play a biological for somebody existed. He has to play that guy. He has to play this. She has to play that. But it's like, I want a movie where that doesn't matter. Like, yeah, the actor is this, the actor is that, the actor is this, whatever. The actor is Asian. But I still want them to be in the detective movie. I want them to be a mermaid. I don't want that to matter.
No, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, they're definitely playing too much. And even that, like I said, putting jinns into the category of fantasy appeals to white people. Because they're like, oh, y'all have y'all own lore? That's not lore. That's like, he's in your home, on your shoulder, in your dog. Okay? You talking about lore. But they do that to appeal to white. That's what I'm saying. Even people be watering down Islam to appeal to white people. Jinns have children. I would be like, hey, just trying to I don't care about what the jinns do. I'm sorry. Correct. This is what I'm saying. Like, well, why? Like, we can write about fantasy. Like, especially because there's so many parts of fantasy that I feel like you can. I'm not advocating for this, but certain things like talking to animals, interpreting dreams, seeing the future, X, Y, and Z are things that are a part of Islam. And I'm not saying I'm not saying write about it, but I'm saying that even the idea of something that is powerful that you can't name, of it being fantastical, is white people, because we know that these things have happened by the permission of Allah. So just being mindful of that, like, you can say it's fantasy, but you have people nowadays that you have medium. There was people that interpreted dreams during the time of the Prophet or something. Like, stop playing. Don't look at your religion in the frame of whiteness. Like, all right. No, literally. Let's have other fantasies.
I'm afraid of making a fairy, and it makes me mad.
Let's have other fantasy things that can go hand in hand with your Muslim identity. Correct. This is, I feel like, what we all would like.
Well, imagine if there was a twist to it, like the Hunger Games, but like you can't kill people. I think it would be just throwing that out there if anybody wants to write that story.
We all learned about but this is what I'm saying. Like, there are things I don't know.
Can you not make books about them?
I'm not saying make a book about. Actually,
I'm just asking. Can you not do that or no?
I proofread a book actually, I think 2019, and they were mentioning like it was the prophecy of Solomon. It wasn't Prophet Suleiman himself, but it was like, okay, based off of the repercussions of what we know about what happened in the Bible and the Quran or whatever, here's what the aftermath essentially. I don't know if the book ever came out. Somebody have to tell me. If y'all heard about it, let me know.
Because I know some people do fantasy, and they do retellings of different stories that we probably all heard growing up.
But it doesn't even have to be that. I think people just they're not creative. There's people that like tahirahfolk. I'm telling you, that girl, she don't got it. We have the same name, but she don't got it. I'm telling you.
I didn't believe in creativity until I read the Song of Achilles.
They don't. She don't have it. So you know what they would rely on when you can't write, but you have access to this career or money. You write on tropes. You make fun of your culture. You downplay yourself for white people. Just say you're not talented and call it a day.
What does it mean by comedic sense?
Girl, I don't want to hear nothing about no funny gins because you know who the funny gin that we got was Genie. Cut it out. I'm serious. You know, Genie is literally the word Genie comes from gin, and he was a gin. Like, come on. And Genie was funny, but like, let's wrap it up.
And who was he voiced by?
Anyway, girl, I mean, I don't understand the fascination with gins. They don't got nothing to do with me. Like I said, if they had something to do with me, Allah will make me see them.
Bro, we have no interaction with them, so what they gotta do? We're secure.
I'm just trying. Listen, I'm just trying. I want to read about some. I want to read about some Muslim witches. Now, I know people would get upset about that.
Honestly, I would prefer more romance.
I feel like I said this on Sincerely Sundays, but I finally figured out the type of book that I want to write, and it's Muslim romance. It's the Muslim romance series.
Can't wait to see it.
It's
I mean, my PR package.
and the only hint I'll give y'all is it's Bridgerton-esque. So I'm not telling you what parts
like time period, or
I'm not telling you what parts are like Bridgerton, but that is inshallah.
You know that series, I love it.
That's the series I want to write. And I think that even with reclaiming things and wanting to do better, we just have to stop paying attention to the negative stuff, you know? So that's why, even though I do have commentary about negative Muslim representation, like stuff like this and the Hala thing, I also have the Ikra Child, so we can highlight the Muslim authors that we really care about. Like, I don't even want to focus on too much negative stuff, to be honest. Girl, I'm telling you.
People are so scared to do that.
And listen, my book, inshallah, is going to be new adult because I'm not writing about no children. I'm sorry. I don't care about why. I'm not writing about no children.
Saying they better be mature, but
I'm not saying mature, but they're
I mean mature like for adults.
Yeah, this is why
I don't mean like raunchy.
The after Love from A to Z, SK Ali came out with that little Eid story that she gave us, and it was about like Adam and Zaynab's like first night, and I was like, and it was so tasteful. Like, you saw her being nervous, you saw her like going out to like buy lingerie, and like I'm like,
not crying in class.
Girl, crying, throwing up, and shaking. Please. Oh, y'all are so sweet. Yeah, I'm working on it. I was supposed to. I have to actually start doing research, and the thing is, I also want it to be very diverse. I want it to be I want it to be reflective of the Muslim world. So I want Black characters, obviously Arab characters, East Asian Muslims, like Caribbean. Like, I want it to be reflective of what Islam looks like, and how the different ways that our culture can be beautifully tied into Islam, not the people who have their negative culture portrayed as Islam. Like, I don't want to do that. Oh, I'm so happy that you joined. I'm so happy that y'all enjoyed this. But yeah, I'm trying to think, is there anything last minute thoughts, or let's just say, what are your projections for the next movie? Like, what do you think? Is there any hope? What's tea?
I want you to share your feed because I already know what's happening.
But also, you know, the movie is different. In regards to the next movie, am I gonna watch it?
I feel like I'll watch it because I have to finish 1 and 2. If they come with some part 3, it's a wrap.
Yeah, I would watch it because I already watched the first one. But I want to be more mindful about like what type of content that I want to support. So I'll watch it. In regards to what I think what's going to happen is that Paul is going to go. He's going to be like, oh my gosh, no, I swear I'm so respectful of your culture. And then they're going to be standoffish, and then he's going to warm up to them, and then the people are going to come to like kill them, and he's going to be like, I'm the Mahdi, like I fight with this women. Like, shut up. Like, shut up. Like,
and then what happens?
Chani or whatever the hell, Chana, whatever the hell her name is, are gonna have their lips. I feel like we already know. And based on the fact that the father is non-existent and Jason Momoa is non-existent, I'm just worrying plot-wise, which y'all gonna have to carry the show because we don't want to see Paul. And here's the thing.
You know, Miss Jessica's gonna carry.
Here's what
She
I
carried that whole movie on her back.
the
I
fact
still
that
don't
I didn't know,
whatever that woman's name is, Rebecca Ferguson.
I didn't know that they
She
weren't
carried
married.
that whole movie.
I was like, y'all. I didn't know they weren't married. I was like, y'all fornicating?
Yeah, they're not the dukes or whatever. All that, they don't have wives; they have concubines.
Y'all fornicating?
If you marry somebody, it's kind of like it's a power move for them. They don't do it as a regular. That's why he never married. He said that's why he's like he explains that he never married her because he knew it would be an insult to her or something like that. But literally, all of the people that have spouses in there, they're concubines.
Oh my god. Here's the thing. Here's what I want to ask everybody. For the next movie, we know that he is going to be with the Fremen. So, do y'all want to see SWANA people, Muslim people? Do y'all want that?
Why the guy Paul Kill was so willing to be killed?
What did Paul kill?
He killed Jameis,
Who's that?
or as I like to call the eccentric, disposable black character.
Who is that?
The one he killed at the end, his first kill.
I don't. Oh, yeah, the guy that like didn't. But wasn't he prophesized?
He was raging for no reason.
But wasn't he prophesized to have like help him?
When he sees that in the dream, that was a dream just telling him what could be possible outcomes. So if Jameis hadn't challenged him, then he would have been his mentor. That's essentially what it would have been. But he had to be all, you have to fight me because you have to fight me.
I'm not getting killed by no white boy. I'm sorry. The creators of the movie
Especially one that looks 12.
The creator is not Muslim. The author is not Muslim. The director is not Muslim. There's no people involved. Muslim people involved.
There might be somebody there. Actually, no, it's not. I was about to say maybe there's somebody there on set. Like, this is how you pronounce it. Meh.
Quite literally.
It is. They're really heavy on concubines in that book.
But I feel like they might.
Further.
But people aren't hearing these criticisms because the general populace doesn't care about Muslim people. And so maybe if you do have the director who's hearing these critiques in whatever way, they might get Muslim people for the next movie. I wouldn't be surprised if they got more Arabic because now you're on the continent. You can't just put a scarf over their head.
They're going to have to dig deeper because once you go into Fremen camp, I don't want to see.
That's what I'm saying.
Foolishness.
That's what I'm saying.
Because it's literally 5, 6, 10,000 different people in each one of them camps. You gotta come with the casting.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised if they about to be like, oh, Yahya is in the second movie. Like, I don't be surprised if y'all start seeing Muslim people and SWANA people being casted. Okay, if y'all see Rami,
I just don't want them to do black Fremen.
Do you feel like they don't need to be black?
Because there's a lot of indentured people there, and I don't want to see black people being indentured on screen.
They're so focused on trying to be accurate to the book, so I'm doubtful there will be improvements in the plot. But we are living in a different time, so I'm not saying that there is much progress. But even the fact that he knew to put Jason Momoa, who is, people consider him a person of color. I mean, he's half, but okay. Or even them putting Zendaya, who's also half black. They're going to do a little bit of that because they
better give. If there's one thing that needs to change, they need to give Chinese some presents. If I see one more dream,
no, she can stay there. She don't got to be real. Bye.
Miss Zendaya with no last name means something else.
I'm screaming. So after this, will you guys, if you've watched, will you read the books? If you haven't watched the movie yet, are you going to watch the movie? Are y'all going to watch the second movie? Will you pick up the series? And I feel like just to end it on a positive note, what are some of your favorite shows or books, or whatever creative works by Muslim people, so that we all can go look and support. Like I mentioned before, damn, let me find who wrote Hannah Khan Carries On. Oh, Uzma
Something
Jabbar.
right now probably Sabad. She's probably my favorite because I haven't finished We Hunt the Flame. I've been prolonging that book for a long time.
Girl, cut it out. It took me so long. The second book is immaculate. I did not love the first book, but the second book, I was like, oh, she put her foot in it.
I need to start over from Sabad's first book, Ember and the Ashes, because I definitely took a really long break between the third book and I don't remember the second book. So I just have to start over, which I hate doing, but we'll pretend.
The second book,
Isn't that Enemy at the Gates?
they left.
No, they left the first one, and the second one isn't the second one where they're in the desert?
Yeah, they're trying to get to the prison
Yeah, I don't remember any of that besides the desert part.
to get her brother.
Because I have 1, 2, and 3. I don't have the last one. Which I felt bad because I was like emotional over the post, but she was like, "It's been a long time since we started this series."
I'm so happy because I managed to finesse myself getting an arc of all of her new book that's coming out in March. So it's a contemporary
collection series.
No, it's a contemporary. So it's about basically her life because she grew up in a motel.
It's always strange to me how authors have such strange beginnings.
Yeah, she grew up in a motel in like the Midwest. It's like so it's just about her, not her. It's based off of her life, but it's not her in the book. It's literary fiction, contemporary, I believe. So I'm excited about that. An author that I have her book, Layla Sabrine, and it's called You Truly Assumed. It's about 3 Black Muslim bloggers. It is okay. Unfortunately, it's something about Islamophobia, but it's about them tackling it, which I know for us of the older generation, we're annoyed with it. But then you have to remember for YA, like they are dealing with more Islamophobia than we are. So because they're in traditional schooling and stuff like that. So I let it rock for those reasons. But yeah, You Truly Assumed by Layla Sabrine. The Descent of the Damned by what's her name? This is a Muslim fantasy book. They sent it to me. I actually probably should read it pretty soon. If I don't read it this year, I'm reading it next year for the ICA trials. What else? SK Ali, of course. Y'all know that she is queen. It took me so long.
City of Brass.
No, that's SK Chocolate.
Who did SK Ali is A to Z?
Love from A to Z, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Anna Laldine, she wrote Descent of the Drowned, and that is a dark fantasy based off of the Islamic world / like Persia, pre-Islamic world, I think. What are other books that I'm excited about? But yeah, that's so cute. She was a teacher. I'm pretty sure she said she was a teacher. If y'all want to see my interview with her where we talked about what is the name of the book? Saints and Misfits? No. Misfits in Love. That's the book. Which is the companion novel between Love from A to Z and Saints and Misfits. Then that link is on my channel. We did a live show for the ICA trials. Very exciting. May, where can they find you? What do you have coming up? What are you reading? X, Y, and Z. Tell the girls.
I am currently reading. Can't even show you because it's propping up this laptop. But I'm currently reading. Actually, I'm reading several books right now. I tend to read 4 or 5 books at a time just because some of them might get boring. I'm reading Eye of the World, The Beautiful Ones, Animal Farm.
Animal Farm? Are you well?
I'm trying to have a limit of 5 supposedly classics a year just to see if they're worth the boo. So far, out of the 5 that I read, the only one that was worth the boo is Beale Street to Talk.
Well, yeah, that's the only Black one.
Exactly. I can't remember what else I'm reading. I finished Legend Born. Did I? Yeah, I finished Legend Born. It's okay.
When does the second one come out? Blood Market.
I marked it on my thing. It's like in July next year. It's so far away.
I'm trying to get an art. I don't care what I have to do.
I just, yeah. I was reading Children of Virtue and Vengeance, but I had to pause because once again I was getting annoyed. Sometimes the characters do dumb things. And I think that's.
I'm trying not to beat up Tommy Adeyemi every day.
I mean, bully her if you have to, but she's living her
And
life.
we're musicals. Like, don't be liking my pictures, but you're not writing books.
She said, "I'm gonna just go to some event."
How you
show
show
up
up to
every
the
now
Met
and then.
Gala?
She went to the Met Gala, but you couldn't write that book.
I'm gonna let her rock. It was a pandemic or whatever.
But
where
she
can-
finished the second book.
Where can they find you to follow you?
You can find me on Instagram at this little name that pops up right here. I don't have any other social media that I really use aside from Twitter. I'm not on TikTok. Or I am, but I just watch videos. I don't post nothing. And my YouTube channel, I keep posting things and taking them down. But very soon I will have a video up there.
Yeah, harass her on YouTube so she can get it together. So she can make the type of film so we don't have to watch this garbage.
But I already got bullied on Twitter about writing a book, so I guess I have to do that now.
Correct. I talk about this on Sundays. If y'all don't know, every Sunday I go live on my YouTube channel, 8 p.m. EST, and I just be chatting it up. Today I filmed. Yes. Today I filmed my dating as a Muslim woman video. It literally took me 3 hours.
Was it for all of the apps?
I'm so tired. It literally took me 3 hours to film because I did my makeup, filmed it, and then also I last minute decided to do a Q&A so that I answered the questions at the end. So hopefully y'all enjoy that video when it comes out in like a month. The books that I'm reading, because I also have my Modest Fashion Essentials for the fall/winter is coming out this week. I mean, inshallah, it is coming out probably on Thanksgiving. It's a fire video. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you're not gonna find anything like it on the internet because all of the other people that talk about modest fashion, they all dress the same. They're not diverse. They're skinny, light-skinned Arab women who all look like they have the same husbands, the same lives, the same children, the same palette, the same hijabs. So yeah, so my video, I give styling advice, and then the examples I give are of diverse Muslim women. There are Muslim women who don't wear hijab. There are Muslim women of all different races, of sizes, and of styles, and of countries. They're also not just all American as well. So yeah, I'm really excited for that video. It should be coming out Thanksgiving. What else? Okay, so I'm currently reading Attached by Amir Levine. That is my self-help book. I read multiple books at the same time as well, but I have always separate categories. So I have self-help / Islamic, I have fantasy, and then I have romance. So Attached by Amir Levine. I'm not getting back on the apps until I finish the book. Or New Year, whatever comes first. So then I'm also reading Jade City. I started that last night. That is an adult fantasy book.
That's what I've been meaning to get.
I started it last night.
Is it good?
Yes, I started it before, but I was reading it with the Unfriendly Black Hotties, and then when we all got into beef and we broke up, I never finished it because we were reading it together, and it was just a weird time. So I'm rereading it now. Yes, these are going to be on YouTube. I don't say videos and mean anything else. These are going to be on YouTube.
Jade City is good.
So I'm reading Jade City, and then my romance book that I am starting is, hold on. What is it called? I think it's called like A Night in Darkness. Hold on. The romance book that I am reading is called A Touch of Darkness, and it's written by Scarlett St. Clair.
What's that about?
It's like a Hades and Persephone retelling.
And
apparently it's adult. So, you know. And if this book is bad, I'll just go back to the Devil's Night series because I'm eating that up. But yeah, this is written by an Indigenous author, so I'm excited to. Apparently, she's Indigenous. If I'm wrong, don't drag me.
I have the two. The other ones are on apps, so I can't even show them. But these are the two that I'm doing right now. This and then the
Who wrote that?
Sylvia Marino Garcia.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a tutorial girl. I don't like doing tutorials because they just feel pointless. I know y'all are like, oh, but we want them. But when I tell you, I finesse everything. So the idea of
Maybe
trying,
for like a reel. You can do it as a reel, but like throw something else in it so it's not just a minute of. If you want to, you don't have to. I'm just saying.
that's
If
this is
you want
always
to, if you want to spruce it up,
this is just always my dilemma because I feel like I finesse everything. Like I learn from other people on the internet, or I just be sitting there figuring it out. So I'm like, y'all want me to teach you how I finesse this? I don't like. People have asked me about hijab tutorials, and I'm like, girl, I literally took the scarf and I tucked it behind my ear. Khalas. I don't like using
or
pins.
I just do a pin in there. You see,
Yeah, I don't like
you see the
like
pin.
this is tied in the back. I don't like doing pins. I don't like doing intricate styles. Yeah, I know I like my hijab to be like flowy and light. I don't like to tuck around my face like, but maybe if I get over it, if I need some content last minute, I'll do it. But if your hijab is sliding, first of all, it's gonna slide because you're moving your head throughout the day. But having a underscarf underneath is helpful. I have a do rag and a scarf underneath. Um,
The
yeah,
fabric as well.
fabric as well. Yeah, chiffon slides no matter what. So if you're
Yeah.
making sure your underscarf, the outside should at least be something more rough. The inside should probably be like satin or silk, but the outside should be cotton so it doesn't fall with the rest of your scarves. But yeah, your hijab is gonna slide. Just take it off and fix
Okay, I'm
it.
just saying this too. This is fun.
And this is no shade to y'all. I know some people really do need it because they just started wearing hijab, and I'm not trying to be shady. Like I swear to you, I do not. I'm not. But just because I've been wearing hijab for my entire life, I literally just be finessing it. I'll literally just be figuring it out, and I'll be bored and like, let's change it up. That is all. And most people, when they do tutorials, they're just experimenting. So
When I have a 10, it's just whatever feels comfortable right now, or I could do a 2.5 because I'm not rushing it.
yes, yes.
Literally, like, I'm going. What am I doing? Just, let me just do that. Oh wait, okay. No effort whatsoever. People are like, oh my god, it always looks like you just put no effort into it because I didn't.
Yes, direct or the bomb. The only thing is, I really want to get a satin slip scarf, underscarf, because of the fact that I feel like I've had some breakage in the back of my head because of. I just realized we're so. Whoever's watching this, they're probably like, I didn't sign for this, but I hope they're down for the
I'm
conversation.
probably like, what
Um,
happened to Dune?
but I have some breakage in the back of my head because of when you tie the do rag, that friction. So that's why I want to get a satin cap so it could just sit there and I don't have to pull nothing to tie nothing. And y'all know Black Americans, Black Muslims, y'all know we really always we like this is a whole scarf under here. I don't know why we do this. We always I don't know why. It's culture.
Girl, which
I don't know why we
right
do
there,
this.
right there.
Because
People
I
like,
don't
oh
know.
my god, that's your hair.
No. I have three scarves on. Like lookbook based on your favorite
Yeah, I'm
fiction.
not paying $50 for a satin.
Hot hijab don't like black people. I don't got nothing to say to that woman. She racist. I don't buy
I don't
nothing
even
from
know
her.
why they would make that because who else would need satin like that?
I mean, I guess there's people with curly, whatever. It's so funny that you mentioned that because one of the videos that I want to do next year and a series that I want to make are not necessarily on fictional world because I'm going to be honest, I'm not a setting person when I read books. I don't care about what the world looks like. Give me the dialogue. I don't care about what's going on. Like, I don't care that the room is black and upside down. I could care less. What are y'all talking about? So I don't even pay attention enough to the description of a world to really recreate it. But a series I'm coming out with next year is doing dressing like my TBR. So I'll take the cover of books and make outfits of my TBR associated with that, which I feel like is a cool way to add like books and
Bro,
clothes.
they're all expensive. They just sell an Etsy scarf or AliExpress scarf for like
They are expensive. The only
a lot
brand
of
that
them are making them by hand.
the only brand that I can really say that like are doing things is Vela. This is Vela scarves. They really do make all their stuff in house. And I know this because Khadijah works there. That's the only, but the rest of them are truly just buying it off the internet. But I love this color. This is in the shade Truffle Mushroom. Love it. Yeah. it's hard out here. Okay, we've been on here for like an hour and 45 minutes, and I do want whatever people that would watch the playback to have some type of context to what they're watching. If anybody has any last minute remarks in general, let me know. Slide that in real quick. Follow Maymunah on Instagram and on Twitter. If you're from Maymunah's page, follow me, SincerelyTahiry, everywhere on the internet. I'll be doing stuff, doing a little some. Very fact, very true, 100%.
I'm trying to understand why the satin scarf is overpriced, knowing it's for a specific demographic.
I'm so happy that y'all enjoyed the convo. Try to make it to more live shows if you can, because I'll be doing these quite often. Hi, Uncle Tupac. I'm glad you just came in at the last minute. If you're on Sincerely Sundays, you know who Uncle Tupac is. He's always lurking, and then he pops
up at the end.
But always. But yeah, thank you guys for joining. For my OG subscribers, for new people, he's always lurking. Yeah, see y'all this Sunday for Sincerely Sunday. I don't know what we're talking about yet, but bye. Boom.